Hello, good morning. Nice to see you all again before this upcoming Shabbos. Parshas Bechukotai, a parsha full of blessings and opposites of blessings. As if you learn a lot of Chassidus, you can see how the opposite of blessing are really blessings too. But as we know, we always read this parsha before Shavuos. But we make sure there's a break. Like in this parsha, then we have another parsha before Shavuos. Sometimes two, sometimes one, but always in between. In order not to have the blessing and the curses right before Shavuos, right before the holidays, or everyone in between. But definitely this parsha must be very much connected to the special day of Matan Torah to be coming up to, that we always make sure that this is before. Always never be any other time, but right before. As I said, right before means like 1 week before the Shabbos, before Shavuos. Or like this year, it's literally almost a week. As we know, the Shavuos is going to be Sunday after next Shabbos. So without, I'm talking too much, without this, just let's one point and connect it. So in the parsha of this week, by the end of the parsha of this week, I'm going to skip the blessings and the opposite of blessings, even though there's a lot to talk about that too. I'll go to the end. So we'll learn about two laws. And these two laws is talking about two offerings that we got to bring to the Kohanis. One is called the offering of the Bechor, the firstborn animal, that you have to bring to the Kohen. As we know, the same thing with us. When you have the firstborn son, you got to give it to the Kohen. That's the mitzvah of Yonah Ben. This is one mitzvah we're learning at the end of this week's parsha. And right after, we'll learn one more mitzvah. And the next mitzvah we'll learn is called Maaser Be'ema, meaning to say that every 10 be'emot, every 10 animals that was born by youth through the year, you got to give it to the Kohen. It's called Maaser Be'ema. As we know, the law that would pass by in a line, and the 10th one, Asiri Iya Kodesh, the 10th animal would be going towards the Kohen. So we have very two interesting laws that we're learning at the end of this parsha. And it's not only in this parsha, it's the end of the entire book of offerings. That's called Parshat Vayikra. It's called the book of offerings. The last two is, one is the mitzvah of giving the firstborn. Second is the mitzvah to give the 10th. Oh, this has a beautiful connection, and as we said, a beautiful connection also to Matan Torah. I'll try to make it as short as possible. The mitzvah of Bechor. What does it mean that Bechor, the firstborn, is holy? The mitzvah is born holy. And because it's born holy, we got to give it to the Kohen. Nothing to do with me. It's because you're the firstborn, you're holy. By the way, I'm a firstborn too. So we have holiness. As we know that Mashiach will come, the firstborn will be the Kohens. That's what it says. So there's a Kedusha, holiness that comes by me being born. Firstborn. This is the mitzvah of the Bechor. There's another mitzvah, the mitzvah of that you take those 10 animals and the 10th one is holy. That's a mitzvah that it doesn't come by itself. The one that owns it, he's got to do it. And this is a very deep lesson the Rebbe once taught us. Very beautiful lesson. There is the idea that Hashem gives you from above. That's the mitzvah of the Bechor. There is the idea that we get everything as a present. That's the mitzvah of Bechor. The Kedusha, the holiness that comes from above, the firstborn. As Hashem calls us, Beni Bechori Israel, we are the firstborn to Hashem. So this is a present from above. So this type of mitzvah, the mitzvah of the Bechor, is a present from above. But then the last mitzvah that I have in this parsha, the last mitzvah of the book, is the mitzvah that we got to make the 10 should be holy. Means that we have in ourselves our 10 faculties, the 10 attributes, however you're going to call it. And we got to work ourselves to make it holy. So this mitzvah, the mitzvah, the Maaser Be'ema, is the mitzvah that I do it. I bring the Kedusha. So this is the beauty as we learn in this expansion. That there is the idea of the holiness that comes from above, sharing upon me. But then there is the idea of the holiness that I need to achieve. I got to do it on my own. That's the mitzvah of Maaseh Beimon. That's the conclusion of the offerings that we're learning in this week's Parsha, and the offerings that we're learning in that Chumash Vayikra. What is the idea? The idea is that the Torah tells us, as great as it is to be holy because Hashem made us holy, as great as it is because we are the firstborn by Hashem, it's beautiful. But really, what's more important, the next thing. What is the next thing? You yourself work on yourself. Asiri Yakodesh, the 10, the last, all the way till the number 10. Work on it to make it holy. That's the mitzvah, to work ourselves. That's the mitzvah that we ourselves have to achieve. And this is, as I said before, so beautifully connected to Matan Torah. In Matan Torah we also have 10 commandments. So in the 10 commandments we have the two ideas. From one idea, Hashem says, the first commandment, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I'm your God. This is the great Kedusha that Hashem gives us. He is our God. As the Zohar says, Anochi means me, myself, Ana, Nafshi, Ketavit, Yavid. Me, myself, I wrote myself down, I gave myself to you. That's the great Kedusha. But that's a present. But then Hashem gives us 10 commandments. What is the idea of the 10 commandments? 10. But in the 10, as we know, there is a number of Taf Reish Chaf, means 620. What's the idea of the 620? Look, count it, you'll see it's a number of 620 altogether. The words of Aseret HaDibot. What's the idea of the 620? Because as we learn that these 10 commandments combine the 620. Why 620? We have 613 mitzvot. And as we know what 620, because it's another 7 mitzvot, the rabbinical law. Meaning to say that after Hashem gives us His Kedusha from above, He gives us the 10 commandments. What is the 10 commandments? That is in there His entire mitzvot of Hashem to us. Or even the rabbinical law. Do it yourself. Do it yourself. Build yourself up. As we see the last words of Aseret HaDibot is tell your friend, all the way down. All the way down. Work on yourself and change. So the Aseret HaDibot, we see the same idea. First Hashem gives us the great Kedusha. But the ultimate is the entire 10 commandments, the entire 620 mitzvahs, Torah, law, rabbinical law. But this we have to achieve. This is the Kedusha that we have to bring up. Bring ourselves to the great levels. Beautiful connection, this week's Parsha, to the holiday of Matan Torah. So we're coming to this Shabbos. We have to take this message. Yes, there is the Bechor Hashem gives us that we firstborn, we holy. But it's the next mitzvah of the Maaseh Beimah. We ourselves have to bring the Maaseh. We ourselves have to take the 10 to make it a Asiri Yakodesh, that we should become the holy people to Hashem. Not just because Hashem gave it to us as a present, it's because we work on ourselves. And then we reach Matan Torah, we'll get to the same point. Matan Torah is the idea of Matan Torah. Hashem gives us a Torah. But we have to do Kabbalah Torah. We have to receive the Torah. We have to do everything in order to bring the level of Kedusha Tam Yisrael, who reached the ultimate Kedusha, who was the ultimate Kedusha, who reached our level that will be Zeicha to Mashiach Tzidkenu, Emir Hashem before the Shabbos. Every Sabbath, good Shabbos, and a Simcha Shabbos.